Good morning, welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. Now, number one, apologies. I've been away for a couple of days and I took the family away. We went down to Ilfracombe, which is on like the north coast of Cornwall, and we were away for 4 days or so. So sorry, no news for the last couple of days. Took the family and the kids away. Now, yesterday did involve over 100 miles of lanes, B roads and A roads to get home. And I'm glad that I know it took about 40 minutes to maybe an hour longer to come home using the A roads rather than the motorway. But I think I saved ourselves about an hour because that motorway was absolute chockers. So anyway, I'm home and routine is back to normal, which means some RC coffee chats each and every morning because goodness me, I've missed them. So with that said, what have I got on the topic list for today? Right, let's run down from the top. FPV Maiden of the Truck Gliders will get done this week. A huge box is being arrived, belter. The Talon needs to get built this week because that means the Vector series gets done. I'm behind on the comments. There's a 5200 battery which we need to have a chat about. There's a gyro or an Autogyro which we'll look at in a moment. Some Phantom parts which is what we can see on the screen right now. Oh, a big P Super. Oh, and the L9R works fantastic. So let's go back to the beginning and go through those. So number one in the list, I do need to mount up our little mini FPV camera on the top of our Truck Glider to go and do a little bit of FPV with it. That's the next step for this series, is to go and fly our FPV, which I think is going to be amazingly good fun because I don't know if you've seen the flight video part 2 of this model. Absolutely mental in the air. In fact, I've got 4 of these models turned up here, which we've been and bought from GearBest for Christmas presents. I might actually have to pillage 2 of those and go and order another 2 more because these things fly absolutely brilliantly in the air, and once I finish with this one it is going to be quite well chopped, especially if you consider I need to chop out a hole up here for FPV kit and up here above the wings I do need to dig down quite far to get a level platform for the flight control board to go in. So yeah, it's not going to be in the best of states by the time I've finished with it, so I need a replacement because number one, I want to make a slope soarer of it, and number 2, I wouldn't mind a powered version like this one. So yeah, really impressed with that series so far, and a big hat tip to everybody who's chipped in on that series. It's been absolutely fantastic. I never knew that a £5 or say $6-7 model could be so much fun. Absolutely brilliant in the air. Number 2, huge box. Look at the size of that. That finally got delivered while I was away. Not 1, but 2 very, very special models in that box. They're going to be on the build bench this week as well. Talking of the build bench, the mini Talon. I don't know if you remember from the last coffee chat. We've got the front nose area, which has been the little platform's been built or printed. That spurred on to, well, I'll make a series, well, not a series, an episode on 3D printing for RC modelers. Just give you the basic lowdown, what's involved and the time it takes and the things which you can print. On the topic of the things which you can print, I did spot over on Thingiverse, and I'll put a link to this one in the video description, which was a whole collection of parts for the Phantom FX61, and I did like the look of this duct. Now I know it's got a special name and it's completely gone from my head right now, but that duct would be fantastic, not only for the Phantom to get some extra airflow in there, but also many other models as well. So for example, maybe like the Phoenix 2000, for example. Now the curious thing is that with a part like this, is that if you printed it if you printed it this way up, you would have a ton of support around the outside. Okay, so if you imagine the printer head really cannot print into thin air to do this piece because there isn't that much of a gap. There's no support underneath it, so you'd have to print it with support. So you're left with one of 2 options. You either print it this way up and then have to cut out a shed load of support all the way around there, or you print it upside down so you get a fantastic flat edge here, But then in this middle section, again, you can't really print into thin air, so you need to put some support on. So that's a lot of support which would need to go in there, and it's not going to look great either way. So I do like the idea of the duct. I'm going to go and give it a print, but I will be printing mine upside down so I get a nice flat face all the way around here. But then I'll probably end up having to do quite a lot of work in the middle to cut out all the support for the bottom piece then, which is then the top, if that makes sense. So yeah, really, really cool. Next on our list is, apologies, I am behind on your comments. So if you've left me a comment in the last couple of days, I think I've got about 28 comments to go through. So apologies if I haven't replied to you personally yet. I will do over the course of today. Next up is the battery, a 5200 milliamp 4S battery. Now, these batteries seem to be about the best bang for your money right now. These are the ones which Dave uses, and I've seen a lot of other people use them as well. A 4S 5200 milliampere battery pack for, in the UK warehouse, they're £17.42. I've personally just been put free on back order before I left. They've not come back into stock yet, but for the weight, to the power, to the cell count, they do seem like the best option right now. So hence I've been and gone for 3 of those, and that's for a couple of reasons. The Phantom Flying Wing, which we'll get onto that, how she flew on Friday in a few moments' time. I would be able to use it in the Phantom, the Mini Talon, and both of the models which are potentially in there as well. So, really, really versatile pack. There are bigger packs which have got higher capacity. There was an 8000, there's a 6000 as well, which would have done it, and a slightly smaller pack too. But for the money, £17, whatever it was, 42, complete bargain. So I've gone for 3 of those, but they are in back order. So if you know of a similar capacity for a similar price, do let me know in the comments section underneath this video, because I would be really, really curious. I did do quite a bit of research into these, and they seem like the best bang for your buck right now as far as battery packs go. And by the way, yes, I do know that they're only 10T rated, and they are going to go in like the Mini Talon, the Phantom Wing. They may not be quite suitable to one of the models which is in here, but that's what we're going to be using for the short period, and I've got some higher C rating packs for one of those models in that box. Next up is a gyrocopter, which I spotted over on Banggood. Does look kind of cool, to be honest. I have seen these gyros fly before. They are kind of peculiar, so if you like your odd models, then this one could be for you. Do note that Hobby King also do one of these as well. Bit of fun. I don't see it really flying in anything other than excellent weather, personally, but did seem pretty cheap at 40 quid. So yeah, if that one takes your fancy, there's a link to that one in the video description. Phantom parts we've just been and discussed. That was the next one on the list. So there were a whole collection of parts for the Phantom, and if you go to this guy's website, again, a link to this one is in the video description. It runs through all the different parts which are in there, and I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, there's that duct there. So yeah, that does look kind of cool. Be able to scoop quite a fair chunk of air into a model, maybe one on either side, for example. But then saying that, the Phantom doesn't really get that hot inside. Because I'm really just not caning the nuts off it. It's once she's the only time she's under any full power is that when she's perhaps circling on a return to home above the flight line, or on takeoff. That's the only time she really gets any full throttle. I don't even get anywhere near full throttle, to be honest. I've got a great big the Turnigy Plus 100 amp ESC in the back of it, and it just gets warm, not even hot. It's just warm. So maybe I do I really need those? I don't know. I'm gonna print them anyway, to be frankly honest. Right, next up, oh my goodness me, what a pea super. Right, this video will be out in the next couple of days, but I wanted to give you a preview. Let me just rewind. That is the conditions that we flew in on Friday. Now I would like to play spot the model. So spot the model. There's one. Literally, did you see where that one came from? It was absolutely horrific. Now, they are flying around there honest. There you go. It was absolutely mental. So I've got a video out on that one later this week. It was absolutely crazy mist. And we couldn't see more than about 20 meters. But we flew anyway. And there was a time when I thought, I put that model in that way. So if I do that and that, it should come back. And thankfully it came back. It was ridiculous. But it did force you to fly really, really close to you, which was really good fun. And it was a really good challenge. So yeah, maybe if you're a slightly more experienced pilot and you see mist like that and you think, oh my God, I can't fly in that. You can fly in that. You really can. And then, of course, the sun came up and burnt it all away into one of the most fantastic days ever. There will be, I'll put a link to Dave's video in the top right-hand corner somewhere in this episode. And you'll see him chasing my little mini Skywalker because I went for a potter around with my mini Skywalker as well. Also, the L9R receiver worked really, really well. I didn't go massively far with it. It just worked great. Again, I felt like I changed a lot on that model. I changed the receiver. Well, technically, the only thing which I'd actually changed is the receiver. But I'd also created some custom wiring out to either wing for the video transmitter, for the receiver, also the GPS and compass on the little vector board. The wiring got changed around for that. So it really was just very much a sanity flight. And also I was going on holiday on Friday afternoon, so I just wanted some airtime. So I didn't go very far. I just enjoyed the flight, if that makes sense. FPV is just one of those... It's a first-person experience. It's not first-person view. It's a first-person experience because you're actually truly piloting the aircraft, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I like to fly fast. There's no doubt about that one. I love fast models. But on the flip side, I do personally very, very much enjoy the slow, docile flight, which perhaps a Phantom FX flying wing can give me, and also the mini Skywalker as well. The mini Skywalker is absolutely tiny, and the reason why I bought that one is because it does get chucked around a lot by the air, but it makes a great FPV platform because it's light. It works great. And yeah, I do need to change the camera on that, and that'll be a topic for tomorrow. But yeah, I have like this double side. I like to fly mentally fast, and I've got some very fast models. Well, I've got some models which are now very fast. And then on the flip side, I genuinely like just pottering around. You know, there's nothing quite like being up there and just dancing across a couple of trees and following the hedge line through, or having a go at some goalposts or something like that. Yeah, really good fun. Anyway, so that's the end of today's RC Coffee Chat. Do let me know what you are up to this weekend. Were you out flying? What were you flying? Did you have any crashes? Unscheduled landings. Did you made a new model? Do let me know in the comment section underneath this episode. I'd love to hear from you because I didn't get to fly at all this weekend. The only flights which I got were on Friday. We saw the kind of state of what that was like on there. It was a proper pea super. So with that said, from myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this episode. I shall see you again tomorrow morning. And on that note, from myself, Matt, and my cup of coffee, cheerios!